Cutting your sales cycle in half sounds pretty impossible, right? But that's exactly what Sandler Trading did with HubSpot. They used Breeze, HubSpot's AI tools, to tailor every customer interaction without losing their personal touch. And the results were pretty incredible. Click-through rates jumped 25%, qualified leads quadrupled, and people spent 3 times longer on their landing pages. You can go to HubSpot.com to see how Breeze can help your business grow. Good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, May 8th. I'm John Weigell here with Juliet, Bennett, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Sprite recently overtook Pepsi as the number 3 soda in the US. Pepsi, not long after trying to diversify its business by acquiring Poppi, is seeing its namesake soda brand tumble down on the rankings year after year. So how did Sprite, a subsidiary of the Coca-Cola company, beat out Pepsi proper? We'll get into that in a little bit, but first let's give you the news in business and tech. To start us off today, a big opening. The Walt Disney Company is opening its 7th theme park resort, this time on Abu Dhabi's Yas Island. Disney is partnering with immersive destination and experiences company Miral on the park, with its Imagineers leading the creative and operational sides of the project. Abu Dhabi itself is going all in on boosting tourism. It's announced plans to invest $10 billion into tourism infrastructure, and its international airport plans to accommodate 120 million passengers by 2026. Going to be a big year for Abu Dhabi. Next, Weight Watchers filed for bankruptcy this week after getting outpaced by GLP-1 weight loss drugs and succumbing to $1.5 billion in debt. There's that too. Also, there was that time Oprah Winfrey exited the company's board after revealing she'd actually used weight loss drugs to drop 40 pounds. From there, we go to AI. Another company goes in on AI this week. CrowdStrike is going to offload 5% of its workforce in order to invest more heavily in AI and its benefits. We've heard that before. The stock fell about 4% early Wednesday as a result of this. And some similar office work-based news. RTO is still rolling out at various big companies. The CEO of Uber recently communicated to the company's staff that he is raising the amount of in-office days from 2 to 3. In addition, the company also raised its 1-month sabbatical reward from 5 years of employment to 8. Feeling really bad for the 4.5-year warriors out there right now. And finally, Netflix is vying for your small attention span. The company is testing a new short-form video feature on mobile that'll let its 300 million subscribers scroll through clips of its shows, either choosing to watch immediately, saving to their list, or sharing with friends. It's the TikTokification of everything. Okay, look, side hustles fail when they consume all of your time. I mean, every single bit of it. The pros, though, work smarter with AI doing all the heavy lifting. To help you out, we just dropped the Side Hustle Accelerator database. You can search your exact problem for your side hustle, grab the perfect prompt, and get results. If you're struggling with marketing, content, and customer service, it's all solved in just seconds. This isn't just another tool, guys. It's your unfair advantage in a spreadsheet. So stop asking AI the wrong questions and start scaling with what actually works. You can get it for free in the link in our show notes. And you can stop right now, actually. Why don't you take a look down at those show notes and tap the link. You don't want to sleep on this. Okay, and on to our main story today. We're talking about Sprite taking over the reins from Pepsi as the number 3 soda in America. Juliet, what is the soda landscape now? Give us the top 3.
So number 1, by a long shot, Coca-Cola. I think that is probably always going to be the case. That's just, the long reigning champ of the soda wars. There's been some turmoil, however, in the following slots. It used to be Pepsi. Coke and Pepsi, number 2, long running soda rivalry. Dr. Pepper actually surpassed Pepsi as the number 2 soda last year. And now Sprite has surpassed Pepsi as the number 3 soda, putting Pepsi in number 4.
Oof. So Pepsi dropped 2 spots in 2 years. That's not looking good for PepsiCo, unfortunately.
Not great, no?
Yeah, no. PepsiCo, obviously, they have an offering similar to Sprite, right? Because I definitely have seen it before.
Yes. So you may recall that Pepsi's answer to Sprite was Sierra Mist for a long time.
That's
They
right.
retired that soda, and now it is Starry,
Uh-huh.
which is pretty new. It launched, I think, in 2023. So it's a new soda. It is a lemon lime soda.
Mhm.
It's all lemon limes here.
So Sprite, obviously beloved soda by many generations. I definitely am not exactly super surprised by this. I think I'm surprised more so that Pepsi's losing ground in the top 3 just in general. So how did Sprite get in the top 3? What has it been doing that's been knocking it out of the park these past few years?
Well, it's kind of interesting to me that Pepsi now has nothing in the top 3.
Yeah.
Because, Sprite is owned by Coca-Cola. Dr. Pepper is owned by its own company, Keurig Dr. Pepper, which actually helps it out because while Coke and Pepsi are fighting, Dr. Pepper's everywhere.
Oh,
you know, if someplace exclusively serves Coke products, they still serve Dr. Pepper, and same with Pepsi. If you made me taste test a bunch of lemon and lime sodas, I probably couldn't tell you which was which, to be totally honest. But Sprite has it's got a great marketing campaign, and it kind of always has. So back in the day, in the 90s, it really latched onto basketball and hip hop. So it was very culturally minded.
Right.
Pepsi's out here giving a cop a soda. That's like the last marketing thing Pepsi did that I remember. And I remember
my God, the Kendall Jenner thing from like 20.
Yes.
Oh, geez. Fun fact, I was working for an ad agency that was working for Pepsi at the time.
Oh, wow.
I was not the one that suggested or okayed this ad, by the way. I was just an assistant, so had no power. But that happened during my employment with Pepsi.
Wow.
And it was awful.
Right. And that's the thing. I only know about that because people hated it.
Yeah.
It's stuck in my mind as people hate it.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike, I think, Coca-Cola, which has some real classic commercials and classic imagery. You think of the polar bear Christmas ads, a lot of sports branded ads.
Right.
I am only reminded of Pepsi fails.
Yeah, no, I mean, they definitely have a few more than Coke does. I mean, I think Coke's big blunder was the whole new Coke thing.
Oh, right.
If you remember that way back when, and that kind of shot themselves in the foot. But they've been really doing well since then. And Coke Zero is actually even outpacing Coca-Cola proper in some ways. So they're doing really well. But yeah, to your point, Pepsi is kind of not feeling too good right now, other than, I guess, maybe Mountain Dew and Gatorade.
Oh, yeah. I think the Do campaign does work for them.
Big time.
For Sprite, the big campaign is Obey Your Thirst. That came out in the 1990s.
Right.
And the 1900s, as the kids say. And it's brought it back. It's 30 years later, and it's doing it again. They brought it back in 2024. And, they were able to kind of take the nostalgia from the people who remember growing up with that and also package it for a new generation. So if you look at one of the first Obey Your Thirst commercials in the modern era, you've got the NBA's Anthony Edwards, and the commercial is very similar to a commercial that had Grant Hill in it in the 90s, and Grant Hill does the voiceover. So it's very much, it's the same, but it's new. And then they also partnered with Sha'Carri Richardson, who is the first female athlete they've partnered with, but obviously, she got a lot of attention during the Paris 2024 Olympics. They're really choosing people who I think appeal to a younger generation. They're very on trend with who they're choosing as their spokespeople. So, for example, they tapped Doechii, who she has since blown up since she started working with them. They're doing the whole QR code thing. I think a lot of brands are doing this where there's a QR code on the package. It leads to some sort of digital experience. They've had a lot of fun collaborations there. And they're still just really relying on music and sports, specifically a lot of basketball. And it's kind of what's always worked for them, and it's working for them again now.
Yeah, it seems like they're doing a really good job at tapping celebrities and also kind of youth culture right now, as they did in the 90s. So good for them on doing that. They also are working on kind of a new flavor identity. And that's something I feel like younger generations have been really enjoying from these older brands, is experimenting with new flavors and trying new things, because it seems that complex flavor is very in right now.
Yes, I think what we're seeing with millennials and definitely Gen Z is they will try anything.
Oh, yeah.
Any Oreo combination, they'll try it. Any new soda, they'll try it. Any new thing Taco Bell does, they're here for it.
Yep.
And Sprite actually had a very successful new flavor with its Sprite Chill, which I have not tried a Sprite Chill, so maybe someone can tell me if this is true, but it apparently has a proprietary cooling sensation, similar to what you might get from like a minty product, but it's not minty.
Okay. That kind of scares me more than anything, actually.
Yeah, it seems a little weird. It works for like icebreakers. But I think, yeah, being able to do that without the mint, that's kind of interesting. And that product, which again, they tapped a sports person for, NBA star Trae Young, that product was a top seller for Coke. It amassed $50 million in sales in 21 weeks. People were saying it was their favorite flavor. There's different versions of it. People were all in on it, wanting it to be permanent. Now it's a permanent product.
Wow.
And soda companies are kind of always experimenting with these weird flavors. The reason you will see the Coke Freestyle machines and the Pepsi alternative in other movie theaters, arcades, etc., is because it feeds back data to the company. So if everybody's like, oh my God, I love Coke, but I like it with orange and vanilla, and Coke sees that, they'll be like, okay, we should release a Coke that is like this, or we should try it as a limited time flavor.
Yeah.
So Sprite actually had a real success with something that they tried that people love that is now a permanent part of its lineup.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important for them to try new stuff like that. And that's really exciting for them to have those grounds of testing. It's basically like they have a focus group at every movie theater out there,
absolutely.
or every Wendy's or McDonald's or whatever. So yeah, pretty great for them.
And they've also just got a lot of people hacking things on TikTok. Every brand does. You know, there's certain brands that have had problems with it. Chipotle, Starbucks being two of them. They're like, please stop coming in and ordering these ridiculous combinations. The latest viral hack is a Sprite with 3 pumps of vanilla syrup that you can get at McDonald's. It sounds disgusting to me, a person who thinks that's too much sugar. But if you're not concerned about your sugar intake, as I'm assuming most young people are not, it apparently tastes like cotton candy. And again, if you're getting it at McDonald's, McDonald's has had near exclusivity with Coca-Cola since the 1950s.
Exactly.
So another win for Coca-Cola.
Big win. Yeah, this goes hand in hand with the dirty soda trend.
Oh, right.
I think maybe Pepsi could even capitalize on that a little bit by telling people, hey, you want to like stick some vanilla in this thing or whatever. So there's definitely ways for Pepsi to get back up top, I think. I mean, they're still a massive company and like Frito-Lay owns them. So they have a lot of brands. They have Mountain Dew, they have Gatorade, they have Aquafina. They can come back, but it's just, will they put enough in their marketing to do so in their flavor production? All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We'll see you tomorrow. Building a business can be really lonely. That's why The Hustle is proud to be the lead sponsor of the 2025 OOO Summit in New York City this May. It's the flagship event built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. You can join us for game-changing sessions from speakers like Andrew Yang, Ankur Nagpal, and Sahil Bloom, plus unmatched networking with fellow founders. The Hustle team will be there with exclusive merch and experiences that you won't find anywhere else, and you can click the link in the show notes and use code THEHUSTLE for $100 off your ticket. See you in New York.